No.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Right. Fucking thing sucks.
That's me. That was me. That wasn't Bill O'Reilly. Anyways, big show today. Donald Trump Jr. is going to be calling into the show in about 10 to 15 minutes. He's got a new book called Triggered Out. We will talk about that and a few other things. Something I brought up before we lost the feed on YouTube. We were talking about Donald Trump Jr. tweeting yesterday and exposing the whistleblower. And again, Facebook, again, bear with me because you heard some of this. Trump's son published on Wednesday the name of the alleged anonymous whistleblower whose complaint fired the impeachment inquiry against Trump, breaking strict conventions for protecting officials who reveal wrongdoing in government. Yeah, protect fucking rats is what it protects. Amid calls by the president himself to expose the whistleblower, Donald Trump Jr. tweeted the name of a CIA analyst, which has circulated online for weeks, and linked to a Breitbart news article implying the person was pro-Democrat and anti-Trump. And that's an understatement. The guy worked with Brennan, the crooked head of the CIA, the FBI. He went to Yale. He's an Obama appointee, has connections with Biden. So the guy's a partisan left-wing hack. And the argument is the Republicans say he's not a whistleblower because he heard the shit secondhand. And so he's not a whistleblower. He's a leaker. That's the big argument. And of course, both sides see it differently. There is no whistleblower. There is someone with an agenda against Donald Trump, the president tweeted on Monday. Let's show Donald Jr.'s tweet. Alleged whistleblower Eric Ciaramella worked closely with the anti-Trump dossier hoaxer. Anyway, so that's what Donald Trump Jr. put up, and people on the left are going crazy. Standing beside Trump at a political rally in Kentucky Monday, Republican Senator Rand Paul threatened to expose the person. Here's Rand Paul at the Trump rally 2 nights ago.
The whistleblower needs to come before Congress as a material witness because he worked for Joe Biden at the same time Hunter Biden was getting money from corrupt oligarchs. I say tonight to the media, do your job and print his name.
All right.
You are correct, sir.
Andrew Bahai, the whistleblower's lawyer, who would not confirm or deny the reported name, but said Trump Jr. and others were endangering the person, as well as a system built to protect the whistleblowers. That's what the fucking lawyer says.
It's all lies.
By the way, I looked up the whistleblower protection thing, and it gives some protection. It's not like around the clock they're in danger. It's not like they protect the president. It's a little less stringent than that. Identifying any name for the whistleblower will simply place that individual and their family at risk.
Oh, poor you.
That would be true if the whistleblower was a Republican. Democrats have accused Trump of abuse of power and illegally leveraging U.S. military aid for political favors from a foreign country, a quid pro quo that Trump denies. A subsequently released call record shows Trump asked Zelensky for a favor.
I need a favor from you. Look, it makes no difference how a man makes his living, as long as it doesn't conflict with mine. But this cocksucker Biden, you got to look into.
He specified that Ukraine should open investigations into Trump's Democratic rival, Joe Biden. Again, don't forget, the backdrop of all this is the transcript of the call has already been released, okay? And there really is no quid pro quo there, but keep pretending there is. So he wanted to look into his rival, Joe Biden, it says, as well into allegations widely discredited. This is from Yahoo News, by the way. Widely discredited. You're not supposed to put that in there. That's your fucking opinion, Yahoo News. That's why I chose it, to show you what lying cocksuckers they are. You know what's scary? Yahoo News pops up on my phone, and I don't know how to get it off. But there's no agenda there, is there? Widely discredited that Ukraine helped the Democrats in the 2016 election. So this is quid pro quo. In other words, Trump said to Zelensky, look, we're not giving you military aid unless you, investigate my political rival. That's the charge. But here's Joe Biden, bragging about how he strong-armed to get a prosecutor fired in the Ukraine. Watch this.
I had gotten a commitment from Poroshenko and from Yatsenyuk that they would take action against the state prosecutor, and they didn't. So they said they were walking out to the press conference. I said, no, I said, we're not going to give you the $1 billion.
Look how cocky he is.
They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said. I said, call him.
Call my dad.
I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting the $1 billion.
Look how cocky
I said,
he is.
you're not getting the $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, 6 hours? I looked, I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Well, son of a bitch. Got fired.
Oh, wow. Boy, here's the difference. We have a phone call with Trump. Some guy secondhand heard, says it was, he was strong-arming the president of Ukraine. But that was just a phone call. They released the transcript. Nobody sees anything illegal there if you're trying to be objective. And then we got Joe Biden on fucking video. Might as well have been OJ chopping his wife's head off. We got him on video bragging how we fucking... but that wasn't quid pro quo. Are you guys dog-styling me? You have to be kidding me. So here we are again. But Donald Trump Jr. injected himself in a couple days ago by saying it was Eric Ciaramella. Anyways, what's that, Raz? Who's on the phone right now? Oh, speak of the fella. It's Donald Trump Jr. on the phone right now. Here you go. Joining me right now, the vice president of the Trump Organization and author of a great new book called Triggered: How the Left Thrives on Hate and Wants to Silence Us. It's Donald Trump Jr. Donald, welcome to the show, and thanks for doing this.
Good to be with you. How you doing, Nick?
I'm doing great. Read the book yesterday. It's excellent. Before I get to the book, well, let's start with a title. Triggered. What does the left do that triggers you the most? Because they throw a lot of garbage
well,
at you.
It's not so much me being triggered. It's more about anything that a conservative does triggering them. It's more about anything that Donald Trump does, whether it's a win, triggers them. Even killing al-Baghdadi, the leader of ISIS, that triggered them, so much so that the Washington Post wrote an article calling him an austere religious scholar, that rather than a rapist, murdering thug who's doused people in gasoline and lit them on fire in cages. So, I think the left is pretty triggered by common sense, by math, by facts. And, that's a scary place to be in politically.
Yeah, and your dad brings all that. In the last 25, 30 years in Washington, both sides actually agreed on one thing, that Washington was broken, that it wasn't working. And then your father comes along, an outsider, and flips over the apple cart. And it turns out only one side really believed that it needed to be fixed. The Dems just hate your dad for a million, and some of the, like you said, establishment Republicans. How did we get to this point? And why wouldn't he be? He is a real threat to their jobs, isn't he?
Oh, he is. Listen, he's a threat to the little, cabals that they've built on both sides. I think that's universal in D.C. He's a threat to the swamp. He's taking it on. He'll negotiate those contracts. You saw what he did with Air Force One. He goes, hey, take $1 billion off. Oh, okay. Why didn't you do it for less before? Well, no one ever thought to ask. No one bothered to ask. I mean, he's running the country like a business. You see the results. You see the successes. You see all-time low unemployment numbers. How's your 401k doing? All-time high startup businesses. Running the country like a business, because that's what you've been doing for decades. Hey guys, it actually works, rather than these politicians who have brilliant ideas like giving $150 billion in cash to Iran. That's the prior administration's brilliance. So you're taking something and just totally shocking the system, and they can't handle it. It's terrible. But who's benefiting is Americans, and that's huge.
It is huge. And let me point, I've been saying this right after your dad got elected. I went, oh boy. And my friend's like, what do you mean, oh boy? I said, do you understand the pushback he's going to get? And not too many people say this, although you addressed it in your book. And they said, well, why do you feel they're going to attack him? I said, he's a blonde-haired, blue-eyed Christian alpha male billionaire. Your dad personifies to the far left the devil, does he not?
Oh, 100%. It's not just him. You saw that throughout, right? I mean, they'll try to take out a Republican. That's nothing new. I mean, no other Republican has ever had this kind of incoming, this kind of onslaught against them. But hey, they try to do it to a 15-year-old kid. Look at Nick Sandmann, the Covington Catholic kid, who had the gall to be, white, Christian, wearing a MAGA hat and from the South. That's like the Holy Grail. We got to destroy this kid. We'll ruin his life at 15 for doing nothing, because the story was so good. Just like they tried to do to Kavanaugh, how they more than happily destroy his life or ruin him. Only thing I knew about him before that was I saw pictures of him serving soup in a soup kitchen every weekend. But we'll destroy him, we'll destroy his family, his career, everything like that with these false accusations. They were so important that Senator Feinstein sat on them for 3 months before doing anything about it. So important. He was obviously a gang rapist, right? So they were so important that the second he got confirmed, all that got dropped, and now all those women are, well, it was a lie. We just tried to stop it, and there's no credit, there's no accountability. Nothing happens to these people. They can do whatever they want to Trump supporters, to conservatives. If you did the same thing to a liberal, you'd never hear about it. It would dominate the news cycle for years. And that's the bias that we're living in. And that I got to experience that as, the number 2 target of the Mueller investigation. So that's what the book covers in much greater detail than I can do on my social media feeds. And I think, people will get a good insight into my family, into my father, into the thinking, into the process and the campaign, and all of the hatred that stemmed from it once my father was in office and, we were under attack.
How the fuck is CNN still on the air? I mean, we've known, you and I, we've been known for years how crooked they are. But Project Veritas went undercover. How are they still on the air the next day? And is your dad going to go after him with the suit? I heard that.
I don't know what he's doing with this stuff, but I think the reality is they've overplayed their hand so many times, man. I spend an entire chapter, if not more, in the book, really talking about the media bias, the way that they are able to just filter and say whatever they want without accountability, without this, because the left will back them, Hollywood will back them, pop culture will back them. I think just real Americans have to be able to see through that nonsense and be able to push back. And if they do that and they start actually looking at the facts, not just what you reported in the news, meaning is that true or did you just see it on CNN? Because they're two very, very different things. I think once you look at that, the American, voter will look at that and reelect Trump resoundingly.
I get nervous. I want to believe that too. Okay, in a perfect world, I think that will be the case. But I'm very nervous. What you're watching take place right now with the left has been a plan in place for 50, 60 years. They infested the academia, Hollywood. They got their fingers into the roots of all these great institutions. And this plan has been going on forever. And I think what you're watching right now is their plan come to fruition. And along come the millennials. Every poll I look at, they don't have a problem. 40 or 50% don't have a problem with socialism or punishing people for saying mean things. So their plan is coming to fruition right now, and there's enough dumb people, and not just millennials, but that are buying this stuff. And what makes me really nervous, Don, is does this make you nervous? Google controls every bit of information that people get online and everywhere, and that's how they vote. So that's what makes me. Are you nervous about Google having an effect on the 2020 election, a negative effect?
100%. I spend a lot of time on social media and, the social media masters in the book, obviously those biased, search engines and all of this. They're able to influence incredible amounts of votes. You notice that you've never heard a left-wing, person talk about being censored, being demonetized, deplatformed, being locked out of their account for talking their views, as crazy as some of them may be. That only happens to people on the right. I've been calling it out for 3 years. Enough so, like I said, I had literally enough material just of my own stuff and examples to show exactly what they're trying to do. And if they can do that to me, if they can do that to the president of the United States, what can't they do to the little guy? What can't they do to someone who's just out there trying to get their word out? And how do they know that they're seeing what they want to see? I get people complaining to me, hey man, I'm following all of a sudden all these left-wing accounts that I was never following before. Magically they're now showing up in my feed, not sponsored accounts, but I'm actually following them, and I never chose to follow them. You can see that this is a dry run for 2020 to try to influence the election, to try to manipulate people's thinking, and they can do it very effectively. They got more power than anyone, and it's truly scary. It is,
and just recently you were complaining about being shadow banned, which has been going on a long time for you. Twitter, though, but it's kind of a weird thing. Your dad, can you picture your dad's presidency without Twitter? When after he got elected, people were saying he's tweeting too much a few months after, and he's got to get off that. That drove me nuts. I'm like, what better tool to talk to the American people directly than Twitter? Can you imagine your dad without Twitter? Where would he be?
Well, listen, I think you can't have a filtered media today that has decided to be the marketing wing of the Democrat Party and expect objectivity. So he's played monkey in the middle with the press. He brings the message right to the people, and that's precisely why they want to prevent him from having it. Look at the last debate. The Democrats literally spent more time talking about trying to make sure Trump didn't have Twitter than they did talking about China. For example, they didn't even talk about China. But for them, that's a bigger threat because it's not about what's good for America. It's about what's good for them getting elected. And that's the difference. They don't care about that. They care about power. They don't care about doing anything good for Americans, or they would have voted on the USMCA already. They've made that very clear, but they can't give Trump a win. It's got to be about impeachment. The impeachment inquiry started on November 9th, 2016, the second he won and took on the establishment, and that kind of nonsense is going to continue for the next 5 years while he's president.
They are relentless, are they not? So I saw Rand Paul saying that he was going to out this guy. Everybody knows, well, I think we know who the whistleblower is. The people are so evil.
Listen, the latest outrage, I guess I tweeted a Breitbart article this morning, that has been naming this guy. It's been out there for like a week. I thought I did it a week ago, and they're going, "Oh my God, Don Jr. He's out in the whistle." I'm like, I retweeted a Breitbart article. Like I write op-eds for them every week. I retweet them probably 5 times a day because they're the only ones actually putting out real news. And like now somehow he must have coordinated. I coordinated with the White House to retweet Breitbart. Like these people are out of their minds. Like, but again. When they get something, there's always got to be an excuse. There's always got to be an allegation. There's always got to be something. Like, why not just have a transparent process in this whole thing? But, they can't do that because transparency is the enemy for them. They don't want that. They want Adam Schiff to be able to conduct this witch hunt in the basement of Congress without no one being able to see it, and the media has no problem with that. It's exactly why I wrote the book, and I hope people enjoy it.
And the whistleblower is Eric Ciaramella. Am I correct?
That's what the article says. It says allegedly. I don't actually know who the whistleblower is. Like I said, I retweeted an article that said it's allegedly that. But, Jake Tapper, Yashar Ali, all those guys, they're blowing up Twitter. Oh, my God, the president's son did. I'm like, I don't know. I retweet Breitbart 25 times a week. This is nothing all that new. It seems sort of relevant, and so I hit it. But, again, that's the outrage. Now, we're worried about his protection. They weren't so worried about my protection when my family's getting envelopes of exploding white powder. That lasted about 2 seconds. The outrage was about 2 seconds. Most of them didn't even cover it. They didn't seem to give a crap about my family when this stuff goes on. But now they'll try to create this this fake outrage about this nonsense. It's truly sickening, and the double standard is disgusting.
Let's talk about your family for a minute. Your dad and you. Your energy levels. When your dad was running for president, I watched the debates, and he used to call Jeb Bush low energy Jeb. I thought he was talking to me. I make Jeb Bush look like a crystal meth head. Where do you guys get your nonstop energy? All great people who accomplish big things have this energy. I don't have that kind of drive. You talk about in the book, you're up for 22 hours at a time drinking Monster energy drink, and then you go on national TV with 2 hours sleep. How do you, and where does your dad get it? Your dad's 112 years old. Where does he get the energy?
He's just always had it, man. That's the way he's always been. He, doesn't sleep much. Up at 5, always going, always working. That's just what it is. It's in the genes, I guess. And so, it's all we ever know. Maybe I inherited some of that as well.
Let me ask you about your grandfather. Your dad embraces controversy. He runs towards the fire, which I think is the best asset for a president ever. I've never seen a guy.
Yeah, 100%.
Is there anybody? And oh, by the way, I wanted to preface this whole interview as I'm a big Trump fan. I'm a comedian doing a streaming live show, so I'm not going to be unbiased here. Okay, I think your dad's the best thing to happen in this country since the Lombardos brought pizza to the United States. So for you people going, oh, this is softball, I just happen to believe in what he's doing so much. But his energy and his embracing controversy. Was he always like that? Did he get that from his dad?
No, listen, he likes the fight. He's a fighter. He's a counterpuncher. We talk about that. I go through examples in our family's history of that, in the book, and really try to cover that in great detail. Again, there's only so much you can do in a couple-minute interview. There's only so much you can do in tweet form. But to really have 300 pages to get into at length, talk about that, to talk about him and, that evolution. And, even me, talk about that evolution. It took me a lot longer to realize I was probably a lot more like him than I would have ever thought, and it took us being backed into a corner, attacked ruthlessly by these animals. for the last few years to really drive that point home. It makes me want to get out there. It makes me want to fight that much harder for for the future of America that I want my kids to grow up in and that I want my kids to be able to recognize when they're older. And if you let that other side with the crazy stuff that they're pushing these days take over, that ain't going to happen. So we got to fight.
I love, there was a part in the book where you mentioned when you realized for the first time that, hey, we could win this thing. You said I think it was you giving a speech in Colorado, and you got a call from the guy who runs the venue. Tell the people about that.
Well, yeah, I got, this venue, and it was, Hillary Clinton was here yesterday, and she had 250 people. I'm like, how are we doing? I go, we've had to upsell the venue. You're at 3,500 people. I go, Jesus, do they know it's Donald Trump Jr.? Because I don't want to get sued for, faulty advertising. They're like, no, here's the sign. It's Jr. I was like, if that many people are coming to see me, and the day before, the actual candidate on the other side is drawing 250 people, I'm like saying, there's something here. This message is resonating. It's working, and you continue to see that to this day in the rally. And the mainstream media will, did you see those disgusting people at the rally? They waited there in their flip-flops. That must be their formal wear. Ha 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 ha. The level of hatred that liberal elite and the mainstream media have for the hardworking men and women who just want to live their American dream is pretty sick. And again, the book has been an interesting thing for me to be able to just take that out in long form to rail against this stuff and to push back.
Yeah, well, my friends always say, well, he's unpresidential. Even my mother, who's a Trump, but I don't look. He's too unpresidential. And I said, you realize the office he sits in is owned by us, the people. This is what we love about him. I said, who do you think the American people, the average Joe out there, relates to more, the working stiff, Barack Obama or Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump? I go, they give that office too much weight. That is our office. We're the taxpayer. That's our place, and that's how he treats it. He never forgets that. And that plain spokenness is what I love. But what's your response when they go, he's not presidential? What does that even mean? He's getting shit done, Don.
Well, listen, if this isn't, the Obama administration where anything he could do, it's a wonderful, wonderful plan, Mr. Obama. The mainstream media, they got 8 years off. They didn't have to do anything. They just had to do a great job, no matter what. When you're under attack, when you have the mainstream media, convicting you, and you have half of Congress saying you committed treason, trying to throw your kids in jail, doing all this stuff, you got to fight back. You can't just roll over and die. The conservatives have been really good at rolling over and dying for 50 years, but now you got a guy that's willing to counterpunch, and they're not going to give you a break. They're not going to go easy on you if you're nice to them, but when they're vicious to you, you got to hit back. I wish there were more of us on our side that would do that. They're starting to appear, but it hasn't been the way Republicans have historically done it. And so in these times and under these circumstances, you need someone who's willing to fight back, and he is a fighter.
Well, that's what George W. Bush didn't do. I used to swear at the TV because he was getting badmouth every day. They would turn the other cheek. And I would go, what are you doing? You have to push back. I have a lot of your dad in me. My parents always said growing up that my problem was I never let anything go. I'd be at the mall. Yeah. Even now, I could be at the mall and an 8-year-old girl could be staring at me. I go, what the fuck are you looking at? I'm sort of like your dad. I guess it's a teachable moment.
Yeah, well, listen, I don't know if I've gone that far yet, but man, they're making me. They're making me. I think they drove me to write a book, so maybe it's getting to me after all.
Please tell me that your dad, in this up 2020 race coming up, please tell me part of it's going to be not just him mentioning everything he's done so far. Please tell me you probably can't give away secrets, but there's going to be a slow drip of what happened with the Russia hoax and Hillary. First of all, I don't even think any of the people running on the Democrat side right now, I don't think they're going to be the nominee. Here's my prediction. It's either going to be Hillary jumping in with their fat ankles or Mayor Bloomberg. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they did this thing with Hillary. There were 6 donors that really want to recruit her. I'm like, 6 donors? That's going to be interesting. And I don't think Bloomberg wants it. I don't think he wants to go up against Trump one-on-one. I'm not saying he's not a smart guy. He's very accomplished. Yada yada. He doesn't want to go one-on-one against Trump and have the inevitable Jeb Bush low energy moment. I think he's got too much of an ego for that. So I don't see that ever happening. But you never know. But in the meantime, I'm very happy with the field that we're competing against. Watching watching the lunacy that is there. Joe Biden's the leader. Most days he doesn't remember what state he's in, but minor details. I think he'll do great one-on-one against Trump. This should be fun.
Who do you want to see be the nominee from the Democrat? Who would you like to see your dad go?
Honestly, right now it makes no difference to me. I don't know that I see. There's no one that I would rather run against. It's like they all have their weaknesses that we will definitely be able to point out to the American people, and the media will try to cover up as they have for the last few months. I think Joe Biden's got the most amount of those weaknesses already exposed, but again, he's had the most exposure around. So the others will make theirs very apparent very soon as well.
I know Buttigieg is moving up. Can you explain to me, Don, how does a guy, he's a war vet. He saw action. He was actually, how can he be a veteran of wars, see action, and have the political views he does? Please explain that to me.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know anything about him. I know he's an absentee mayor. Most of his constituents have no idea where he is or what he's done. So, I don't really know enough about him. I guess that'll take time, too.
But you're confident he'll crush any of those people, even with Google interfering?
Man. Just look at the results.
Yeah. No, he's... I just want to real quickly get back to Twitter. I lost it. You talk about bias and how they come after you and your father and what they do to guys like me. I lost a six-figure radio job for a tweet. And you mentioned it in the book. You mentioned the woman from, Fresno State, or the professor who, after Barbara Bush died, said, I'm glad she's dead, and she raised a bunch of war criminals. What was her name, Gerard?
Yeah, well, again, if you're on the left, you can say whatever you want. There's no consequences. It's brushed off as a minor detail. If you're on the right, you get thrown off Twitter, you get deplatformed, you get canceled, you lose your job. You've seen it all. We've seen it all. It's, again, I go into great lengths in it, in the book, and, I really hope that your readers can, your listeners can go check it out and maybe get a good insight into 2020, get a good insight into terms of, what we've gone through, having a front row seat in terms of, American history, and get a better insight into my father, our family, and, what we plan on keeping doing. But I really appreciate the time, and look forward to talking to you guys again soon, because I know we will be back on the air over the next sprint that will be the next year coming into the election.
Donald, I can't thank you enough, and again, I'm a huge fan of what your dad does and what you do and defending him, and we can't thank you enough for joining the show, and good luck with the book, and hopefully we'll talk soon.
Thank you very much, man. I hope all your readers go out and buy Triggered. It'll be some fun.
It's a great book. Thank you, Donald.
Be well.
It's a great read, even if you don't like him, because, people don't give him credit. Oh, he's born into money and he's a spoiled brat. He acknowledges some of that, but he also acknowledges how his old man was kind of tough on him, and he had to do the dirty jobs, and then he, when he got out of college, he was hitting the booze real hard and had to wake up to that. And, has this, it's an interesting read, but I know damn well the people who can't stand Trump are not going to buy the fucking book. But I'm saying it was an interesting read, and he acknowledges how he grew up and stuff. And I suggest get it. Triggered. How the left thrives on hate to silence us, Rich. I say that because Rich, what's the matter? You all right? Go ahead. What's on your mind, honey? You having your period?
I just think this is a nice moment for you. You got to interview the president's son.
Well, thank you, Captain Obvious. No, that was very... Once again, adding to the conversation. And again, thank you guys for being patient with the Facebook feed went up, and about 10 minutes in, we lost YouTube. And again, I'm the paranoid guinea, and I'm wondering why that happened already. You get the president's son on your show, and Google doesn't like that. I'm just saying. I'm admitting to paranoia. It's in my guinea genes. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Anyways, this episode of the Nick DiPaolo Show brought to you by mybookie.ag. Look, we're way into football season now, and there's no better time to bet. You like winning money? Who doesn't? I'll tell you where to put your money down at mybookie.ag. I got friends who use this site, and they love it. If you're trying to bet on the NFL, baseball, MMA, whatever, MyBookie's got it. Not to mention, you got the NHL and the NBA seasons that just kicked off. MyBookie has faster payouts, more lines than any other sports book, period. They've got parlays, even teaser bets. If you're looking to bet a little and win a lot, MyBookie's got your back. They just revamped the website. I suggest you go look at it. Double your first deposit now. And get this, use promo code NickD to get a 100% bonus on your initial deposit up to $1,000. That's pretty good. Who's better than you? Visit MyBookie online today. That's MyBookie.ag. And don't forget to use the promo code Nick D when creating your account to claim the bonus. And the reason people love this site, and millions of them do, is you do three things. You bet, you win, and you get paid quick. And so we thank them for sponsoring this episode of the show. Dates real quick. This weekend, Friday and Saturday, November 8th and 9th, I'll be at the Kansas City Comedy Club, Kansas City, Missouri. And then next weekend, Friday, November 15th, the Cortland Repertory Theater, Cortland, New York. Saturday, November 16th, the Comedy Works, Saratoga Springs, New York. Friday, November 22nd, the Historic Ritz Theater, Brunswick, Georgia. The next night, Saturday, November 23rd, the Tiff Theater in Tifton, Georgia. And then New Year's Eve, back at one of my favorite haunts, the Tarrytown Music Hall, Tarrytown, New York. And then in 2020, my first date right now is Friday, January 24th at the Ridgefield Playhouse, Ridgefield, Connecticut. Saturday, February 15th, the Kelsey Theater in Lake Park, Florida. Friday, April 3rd, the Morgan Hill Event Center in Herman, Maine. So go to nick.com for all your ticket information. We have a super chat, Richard.
Yes, sir, we do. Jaja said Trump Jr. 2024.
Yeah, I wanted to bring that up. I didn't get to it, but then I thought to myself, well, let's get Trump Sr. through 2020, seeing they're trying to impeach him and fucking the Google and all the tech giants are against him and all the mainstream media. I don't take any of this for granted. People walk around, he's going to crush it. He's going to... Bullshit. There's enough dumb people in this country that obviously they've been doing it for 40 years. The TV has done a number on their psyche. The people who have their own minds and haven't bought into it usually vote like I do. Wake the fuck up. Quit watching Chuck Todd and Rachel Maddow and fucking Don Lemon. And Jesus Christ, how much more can we prove that they're liars? Project Veritas goes undercover, talking to employees at CNN saying how biased is. But we'll watch it again. Yeah. You can watch it in the airports.
We got Joshua Roberts, who said "Keep America Great" 2020. Ivanka 2028.
Yeah.
Nick DiPaolo is the only relevant man in comedy today.
Yeah, I'll take that. Well, that's not true. Chappelle and there's Colin Quinn but I'll take that. As one of them. I like when you hit your button. Did you hear the fucking cops going by? The timing in life. Don't hit it again, Rich. I'm just saying. Timing in life is just unbelievable. They're probably coming here because I had Trump Jr. on the show, pretending to be cops. They're Antifa douchebags. I have no idea. Any other super chats?
We had a few donations.
If you donations, you want to mention their names or no?
Kevin Harris.
Well, that's a few, I guess, huh? Huh? Oh, he donated twice during the same show? He's got some kind of money. Anyways, let's get on to the rest of the show. Kansas City votes to remove Martin Luther King's name from historic street. Did I read that right? Just the headline, you really think the other side's going to go, that's all right. We have enough streets named after MLK Jr. I always said, they said New York City cab driver was the most dangerous job in the world. And I said, bullshit. Running a bodega or a convenience store on MLK Jr. Boulevard in any city. Yeah, put me in a store at 3 in the morning surrounded by cool cigarettes, fucking malt liquor, and a register full of cash. What could happen? Hey, that's some racist shit. Chris Rock liked it. Anyways, Kansas City voters on Tuesday overwhelmingly approved removing Dr. Martin Luther King's name from one of the city's most historic boulevards. Less than a year after the city council decided to rename the Paseo for the civil... am I pronouncing that right? Paseo. Wasn't that a car? For the civil rights icon. Unofficial results vote showed the proposal to remove King's name received 70% of the vote, with just 30% voting to retain King's name. I read this and I'm like, because we live in this politically correct cesspool for the last 40 years. I'm like, is this a misprint? There's no way anybody would have the balls to take his name off the street, although I got to admit it's kind of refreshing, and that's nothing against, he was a great man and stuff, but he had his flaws that have come out recently, if you want to believe certain FBI reports, and God forbid you push back against any of that. The debate over the name of the 10-mile boulevard on the city's mostly black east side began shortly after the council's decision in January to rename the Paseo for King. Civil rights leaders who pushed for the change celebrated when the street signs went up, believing they had finally won a decades-long battle to honor King, which appeared to end Kansas City's reputation. I'm going to have to talk about this on stage, aren't I? God damn it. As one of the largest U.S. cities in the country without a street named for him. God forbid. But a group of residents intent on keeping the Paseo name began collecting petitions to put the name change on the ballot and achieve that goal by April. The campaign has been divisive, with supporters of King's names accusing opponents of being what, folks? Fat, anorexic, or racist? Ay, ay, ay. But I want you to notice in the picture. See, do you see? And Raz pulled this up. I didn't see this during the. I was assuming it was all white people, but see, do you see some of the black people on there? They're in a church protesting. They're for taking his name off the street and leaving it the way it was, because their families grew up in this thing and they have tradition too. So you got a nice. That's when diversity matters, not in a fucking tampon commercial or Budweiser. This is when diversity matters. And I'm not saying taking his name up, but there's more to it. There's some tradition in this town. That's all. Anyway, so the King supporters call the people racist. Even though there's black people in it. While supporters of the Paseo name say city leaders pushed the name change through without following proper procedures and ignored the Paseo's historic value. Emotions reached a peak on Sunday when members of the Save the Paseo group staged a silent protest at a Get Out the Vote rally at a black church for people wanting to keep the King name. They walked into the church and stood along two aisles. How dare they? But you can see there was a mix there, so it was allowed. You can imagine if it was just white people trying that shit. Everything got fucked up right in the parking lot. The protesters stood silently and did not react to several speakers that accused them of being disrespectful in a church. But they also refused, look how they even word that, they didn't react to several speakers that accused them of being disrespectful in a church. But they also refused requests from preachers to sit down. So,
These blacks. Who knows what they're going to take the wrong way?
The Save the Paseo group collected 2,857 signatures in April, far more than the 1,700 needed to have the name change put to a public vote. Many supporters of MLK, the MLK name, suggested the opponents are racist, saying Save the Paseo is a mostly white group. Mostly white. A mostly white group. That makes you racist because you're most. Imagine we said, fucking the NBA. Mostly fucking, that's racist. Mostly blacks. And fucking NFL, that is a racist league. It's fucking all blacks. Fucking blacks. Here's a one-time diversity day. Mostly white. Oh, my God. These people are out of their mind. Mostly white group, and that many of its members don't live on the street, which runs, of course they don't. It's MLK Jr., which runs north to south through a largely black area of the city. They said how about, here's a solution. Start putting MLK Jr.'s name on some white streets. Huh? Let's balance this shit out. Throw in Mao Zedong, too. Grab other, whatever. I'm not making a compare. Relax. Don't. They said removing the name would send a negative image of Kansas City to the rest of the world, because the whole world is focused on Kansas City. Let's hope so. I'll be at the Kansas City Comedy Club this weekend. Get the numbers up in that motherfucker. Send a negative message to Kansas City to the rest of the world, and could hurt business and tourism. I hope not. I'm there. And you know what I say to those people?
Man, fuck you and your bone spurs.
Just a little more about this, just so you see why it's not all based on racism. I mean, the pictures speak for themselves. Supporters of the Paseo name rejected the allegations of racism, saying they have respect for King and want the city to find a way to honor him. They opposed the name change because they say the city council did not follow city charter procedures, and when making the change, didn't notify most of the residents on the street about the proposal. They also said the Paseo is an historic name for the city's first boulevard, which was completed in 1899. The north end of the boulevard is listed on the National Register of Historic Places. So they have some sentimental feelings towards this street. It's not just pure white racism like every other story we do here. You got to look into
I know
it.
a thing or two about a thing or two.
City Council voted in January to rename the boulevard for King, responding to a years-long effort from the city's black leaders and pressure from the local chapter of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, a civil rights organization King helped start. U.S. Rep. Emmanuel Cleaver, I know this guy's work, I have all his old stuff, a minister and former Kansas City mayor who has pushed the city to rename a street for King for years, was at Sunday's rally. He said the protesters were welcome, but he asked them to consider the damage that will be done if Kansas City removed King's name. I am standing here simply begging you to sit down. This is not appropriate in a church of Jesus Christ, he said. To which the mostly white crowd said, shut the fuck up. Sure they did. He says, I think only if you are a black child, and I underscore only if you're a black child growing up in the inner city, lacking the kind of resources, lacking the kind of images and role models, mentoring, vocation and career, can you actually understand what the name on that sign can mean to a child in this community? I'll tell you what it means to a child. His brother's going to get shot there in about 5 years, and there's good weed on that street. Again, tongue-in-cheek, fucking relax, but I'm just saying. That's what it means to most people. I have one in my town. I'm not racist. I walk up and down it at 3 a.m. just proving it. With tight shorts on like from 1978. But they just go on and on, the politically correct. If the sign were taken, what people will wonder in their minds and hearts is why and how something so good, uplifting, and edifying, how can something like that be taken away? Oh, for Christ's sake.
Will you shut up? Will you please shut up? Will you shut up? Shut up!
Anyways, I thought that was refreshing to see black and white people were making progress, 3 black people at a time. They actually, have family that grew up there, and that Paseo, if I'm saying it right, whatever, had some sentimental value. It's just this knee-jerk reflex reaction to political correctness that if you're not on this side, you're a racist. It makes me sick. Let's stay on some more racist talk. Go ahead, Rich.
Well, I was just going to say, if Trump can't have his star on the Walk of Fame, then Martin Luther King really shouldn't have a Martin Luther King Boulevard.
Oh, you're racist. Get out of my office. He did have a star, and they tore it up. Yeah, okay. Well, what do you want to start tearing down MLK Jr. statues? Go ahead. Give it a shot. I have a pick in my car. He was a great man. And, the world should learn from him. But there was some shit that came up about it, how many, women he was banging at a time, and he allegedly watched this is from the FBI files. Probably Edgar Hoover, so yeah, believe what you want. I personally am a fan. He gives me every Monday off once a year. Oh, for the love of Christ, that was so unoriginal. He really should have known better is the headline of this. More race talk. California teacher dresses up in blackface to recite lyrics by rapper Common. Oh, my God. A lot of blackface stories, huh, Rich? Been about 10 of them this year. I'm starting to believe climate change is real. What the fuck? Can he say that? He just did. A white California teacher is on administrative leave after a video showed him in blackface rapping along to an artificial intelligence commercial featuring Microsoft spokesman and rapper Common. Oh, my God.
There are white niggers. I've seen a lot of white niggers in my time.
You know who that is? Senator Byrd. He's since passed. Democrat, by the way. Hillary. Absolutely loved to use him as a mentor when she got to Washington. I'm serious. You're fucking laughing. He was the head of the Klan. Not just in the Klan. He was like the head of it. The Grand Poobah, the captain, the colonel. The what? The Klan master. That's something you buy for your kitchen to make eggs. The Klan master. Milpitas High School student Carrington Kenny tweeted Halloween video of the teacher, identified by San Jose Insider as David Carter. Dumb cracker. It has since been shared close to 2,000 times. That's not that much. The video showed Carter in a white turtleneck, a black jacket. White turtleneck and a black jacket. Already an asshole. And bald head. With black paint on his... Can you imagine after all... Can I give you my angle on this? This guy knew this would get him attention. You know what I mean? After the 8th Black story that goes viral, blackface story, There's a lot of copycat. That's how racist this country is. We want to be black. Colin Quinn said that on Tough Crowd. He goes, yeah, we're so racist. We hate you so much. We try to act like you, dance like you, walk like you. It's a great point. But we've come a long way since then. We've digressed. Here's the video of this stupid white professor with his blackface on making a real asshole of himself.
Opportunities limitless, possibilities senseless. What will you do? Millions of people, not enough to eat.
Look at that
what
rhythm.
Will we do with AI, Microsoft technology, the future is up to you. You can do it.
What a fucking jerk.
AI. The future will blow your mind.
It'll blow your mind. That's how black people talk. AI. AI up in this motherfucker. Artificial intelligence. Crack ain't got no intelligence up in here. What a dumb fucking. Oh my. Boy, do you see he had that natural body rhythm? It's like he had a body cast on. Motherfuckers. Out of here. Oh, my God. Well, anyways, Kenny, vice president of the school's Black Student Union, told Mercury News Sunday another student sent her the video, and since seeing the footage, she said it's clear the teacher should be fired.
Well, the world needs ditch diggers, too.
In this community, we honestly don't have room for people, especially people who want to dress up in blackface, to come in here and still try to educate people on topics like this, she said. That doesn't make sense that he gets to stay and continue working there when he thought this type of behavior was appropriate. He's just trying to be hip. He's just trying to fit in. She added in the Mercury News interview that he really didn't have to do blackface in order to represent somebody. It's very hard not to do a black guy without blackface. That was sarcasm. Anybody? Look at me.
Chris Rock's pretty good.
Huh? My Chris Rock? Yeah. That's right. I was doing Chris Rock for you. For Raz. Raz is black, by the way, my producer. Proving once again, I'm not. But I was telling Raz, yeah, Chris Rock. I worked for Chris Rock. He took the whole show, everybody that worked at the show, to see Bill Cosby live, and I didn't want to go. I didn't like Bill Cosby. Turns out I was a prophet on that one. Something bugs me about him. I think he fucks white girls. No. But I didn't want to go. I stayed in the office and Rock went, DiPaolo, you fucking racist, DiPaolo. You fucking racist, DiPaolo. He came back from the show. He goes, you fucking missed it, DiPaolo. And I said, yes, sir. Anyways, here's a couple sketches you won't use. Lung custard. Anyways, the school in Milpitas Unified District is 12 miles north of San Jose in the city of Milpitas. A male penis. Milpitas, male penis, right next to her vag. I grew up in her vag. You bought it in my penis. Has mostly Asian population. And a black population of 3 midgets. What? Of less than 4%. School board president Chris Norwood, a black man, that's what it says on the article, issued a you don't see that much. A Jew, Antonio Banaba, a greasy guinea, issued a statement Sunday on the district Facebook saying the teacher was put on administrative leave. District administration has placed the staff member on administrative leave, and I have asked the superintendent to ensure an immediate investigation. He called the teacher's actions inappropriate, unprofessional, and insensitive.
If you want to talk like a fucking Malayan, we'll send you to Slip and Fall School.
Could you hear that all right, Raz? Yeah. I can barely hear it in my thing, but that don't relax. Doesn't matter what I hear, as long as the rest of the world's offended. Anyways, back to the show. Let me just end this article. It's essentially that every MUSD student and parent guardian can expect to have a safe environment. Shut the f up. Fucking safe environment. Teacher dresses up like blackface. Now it's unsafe. Jesus H. Christ Almighty. Finally tonight, I'm kind of grouchy and cranky. Do you know why? I'm having my period this week, apparently. According to the 9th story I've read about men having their fucking periods. Do you see the feminist movement? They just project. They want it all. No difference. Huh? Let's take away all those. There's no difference between men and we want. Ugh. Now they're convincing you, Rich. They're telling you bleed once a month. That's what they're telling. Well, you do because you're so annoying. People punch in the face.
I just don't wear white pants those days.
Yeah. You wear a white skirt, you big girl. That's the headline, folks. I'm not making this up. Some men have periods, too. British mom and son's educational message goes viral. England needs to be blown up. Honest to God. Blown right the fuck up. Somebody get on it today, please. When the menstrual hygiene brand Always, which is the one I use, removed the Venus symbol, that's the woman's circle with the arrow, from its sanitary pad packaging. We used to use those when I played street hockey. We'd tape like 11 of those on. Many appreciated the move for gender inclusivity. The redesign was motivated by the fact that the menstruation isn't just experienced by cisgender women. Trans men and non-binary people get their periods too, is what they say here. And you know what I say to that?
Stop getting cunty.
One mother wants to make sure her son grows up knowing this fact. And while she's at it, educate the internet with a cute photo of her kid multitasking for the win, it says. Here's a picture. This kid's got a bright future, huh? Look, he's terrorized. His mother's dangling a bloody rag over his head. Hold this up. Some men have periods, too. If I can get it, so can you. Oh, it's a poem, too. Let's bring some haiku into the fucking menstruation. That she should be arrested for child abuse, okay? She fucking self-absorbed, just a fucking mentally ill, maggot-infested, confused woman who should be burned at the stake. I realize that was a little over the top, a little rough, but you got to forgive me. I'm on the rag today. It's a lesson her son has known for a long time. Eli's been told about periods since he saw blood on my pants a couple of years ago. I want to look into that sentence right there. Saw blood on my pants. Because, I'm guessing she wasn't beheading goats on the farm. I didn't use the language of women have periods because it's not entirely inclusive. Do you believe the mental fucking... Raz, what, I mean, as a black man, you're going to be offended by this white shit. And this is white shit. It's not entirely inclusive, she explained on Instagram. Let's. I don't even know who this broad is. This is a queer activist. That's what she calls herself, a queer activist. Why is that funny? That's what it says in the article. We got the clip?
Appreciate that an effort was made. It seems a little bit like maybe it was an effort that was made without the consultation of many trans or non-binary folk in the room.
Pause. Wait a minute. The first person, wasn't that the tight end for the 49ers, Selleck, whatever his name? Or Eagles, or Kelsey, or the Chiefs, excuse me. Okay, let's listen to what this fruit cup has to say.
People are not going away, and this is a step in the right direction.
Look at this, always removes female symbols. Look at this propaganda right out of Goebbels. Always confirm. All right, I don't want to read. Where's the broad who's 6'8" with a 19-inch neck? Look at this fucking...
I think the way that this was framed by the media makes it seem that trans people went on some sort of crusade, making it seem like trans people are being unfair or demanding.
Yeah, they are.
This continues to enforce the idea that the trans community is attacking the majority of society.
It is. Pause. You make up 0.001% of the population, and we talk about you 6 days a week. Okay, you're being overrepresented. Shut your mouth. Wear your silly little fucking hat outside. I mean, you talk about slippery slope. Remember? Oh, we just don't judge us on our lifestyle. It's gone from that to, hey, I want tampon dispensers in men's rooms. I want you to call me fucking it. Slippery slope, covered in period blood. Go ahead.
This aren't a big deal, and it really won't affect anyone else.
I think the area of periods
I think you
is
should
also
be practicing
one of those where
blocking
there are so many
and tackling.
conversations that need to be had. You don't get to just throw on something, say that you're being gender neutral about it, and then sidestep the other conversations.
Pause. You don't get to tell me what to fucking say, even though you're 6'8", 270. Now, how does this pretty tennis player work into this?
It would be great to see adverts, sales pitches, things like that front and centre, for instance, trans men who also go through periods.
Pause. Here's what I'm going to correct you. Why? Advertisements try to get the biggest audience to sell their product. They're not trying to fucking... It's why you don't... Oh, my God. I can't fucking take it anymore. They're convinced that we all have this ability, that we're all... There is no gender. No difference. Go ahead.
Always removing the symbol from their packaging is an acknowledgement that not all women bleed every month, and it's also an indication of change.
OJ's girlfriend.
Something like this, I'm always a little bit concerned about because it feels like it's pitting trans and non-binary people against women.
Yeah,
and
that's what it's done.
That doesn't feel right.
All right, enough.
Fair.
I can't take it. Jesus H. My tits hurt right now. I'm having cramps. They should replace that woman sign on the package with a swastika. Because if my wife acts like Hitler 7 days a month, which she does, and most women, put a swastika. That'll do it. I'll finish that bit on stage in Kansas City. Come on out. Okay, that's. I think that's about all I wanted to say about that. The bottom line, here we go. Trans men may have female sex organs and still experience periods, and some non-binary people have periods too. Therefore, removing a female logo off the front of a sanitary product helps include us all. Isn't that the wholesome and nice gesture? Somebody wrote that I could punch in the throat, and not for your sexuality, just for you preaching. And but I feel bad for you. I really care about your feelings.
Feeling good? You know what? I wet my ass with your feelings.
Hey, take it easy. Anyways, to conclude, men don't have periods. They bleed when they get in bar fights, and like real men, or you get somebody slides into you with a high cleat. Rich, you don't agree with that? Go ahead.
I think it's people trying to get an
Closer
extra...
to the mic for the
I think it's
time.
people trying to get an extra day off, because then I could call my boss and say, I'm having a crabby day, I have breast tenderness, I don't want to come into work today.
Yeah, I said that a couple of years ago on the show. I'm glad you heard it, but that's true. We did. We covered this one in my basement. But yeah, you call in, you could say, look, man, I'm bleeding a stuck pig. I got up this morning, pulled the sheets back. I thought I was going to find a horse's head there. I am really cranky. It's a heavy day for me. Anyway. Hey, I want to thank Donald Trump Jr. again for calling into the show. Get his book, Triggered, if you're open-minded enough. And again, this weekend, Kansas City Comedy Club in Missouri, nickdip.com for ticket information. Go to Cameo. I will send you a personal video message to one of your friends that you don't like or somebody that you do like. As a birthday present, I'll roast them. Cameo.com. Click on the Nick DiPaolo profile. Remember, you guys think it. I will say it. You're very welcome. I will see you when I get back on Monday. Have a good weekend, everybody.